the new age breed of coach. What is the new age breed of coach? Now, that is a term that me and Lewis coined. That is a term that we created, and that is a term that we have latched onto throughout the journey of the Coaching Masters, the new age breed of coach. And I just want to tell a very quick story as to why this is very, very important. Before I had met Lewis, and I had been a coach for a couple of years at this point, and I felt like I was still finding my feet as a coach in many respects, but I was successful. Yet I was still exploring, who I was, what it is exactly that I want to do, where I want to take this coaching journey. And back then, I would say genuinely, I'm not going to name names, but genuinely, from my perspective, there were roughly about 4 coaches that I would say were those young, successful, what we would now define as a new age breed of coach, right? I was one of them, and Lewis was one of them. And I reached out to Lewis and I sent him a message on Instagram, and we had a conversation. And I was really taken back by the fact there was another coach. There was another young man who was a coach, but not only that, was a successful coach and obviously loved coaching, knew a lot about coaching, was very knowledgeable, very successful. And quite clearly coaching had had a dramatic effect on your life in the same way that it had a massive effect on my life. And that was rare. Like, that was really rare. So then when we started talking, we were like baffled. Why are there not more young coaches? Why are there not more young men and young women who want to build a successful business, want to go out there, change the world, help people, grow their personal development at the same time? Why does that not exist? And of course, the Coaching Masters has been one of the remedies of that problem. Because back then, mate, it was just, from my perspective, it was us and like a couple of others.
Yeah, so I would like to think that we contributed towards this new age breed of coach, and we definitely did. We've disrupted the coaching industry. It looks very different now, but also I think it came at the perfect time where there was this rise of the coach, and everything has sort of worked in our favor since then. The whole Corona thing with bringing everyone online. To us, that was a way of life before. Now everyone's like, "Oh, what's this online stuff all about?" And we're like, "Well, been trying to explain that for the last few years." But yeah, I think now it's interesting because we've grown a little bit since we first got started. And now I think there's probably some coaches that are so young, they probably look at us and think we're old. We was like the youngest young buck coaches. I mean, I remember at one point thinking I was the youngest coach in the industry. And then there was one other guy that I met that was actually a lot younger. But other than that, I didn't really come across them much. But now you've got like 18-year-olds that are coaches, and they're doing really well because they've got their own little niche. They've got younger people that resonate and connect with them that they can help. So yeah, it's been great to see the industry grow over the last few years, see different types of people get into coaching, different niches of coaching, different ways of living and delivering that value. Something we're going to be talking about today is the rise of the digital coach, which is powerful, which is something that is now quite, I guess, normal now. People understanding that you can work online and deliver things online. But only up until before Corona, people were still a bit confused when you mention an online course. They're like, well, how do you do it online then? And now it's just like everyone's doing Zumba classes online and, cooking classes online and going to school online. And now it's very quickly become normal, isn't it? But yeah, it's been great to see the industry grow and unfold over such a short period of time.
Yeah. And it's a very short period of time because you think we met February 2018. And at the time, the success that I had found as a coach was entirely offline, in its entirety. I wasn't utilizing the power of social media. I wasn't utilizing the power of things like Zoom to do online sessions. I did the odd Skype session, right? That's how that now saying that sounds so ridiculously old school. I did a couple of Skype sessions. I wrote an article once, right, for this life coaching like online website, this some website, I don't know what it was, but I wrote this article about the power of Skype coaching, and it was like one of the most read articles they'd ever had, right? And it was very short. It was like half a page long, and I literally just listed like 4 of the benefits of doing sessions online instead of offline. But 95% of my sessions were still offline. My whole training academy was offline, and then when I met you, you introduced me to the power of the online world. So now let's think about that for a moment. Like, we are the Coaching Masters. We run this online organization. We're known as those guys that have brought coaching online. A few years ago, me as one half of that, I wasn't even aware of the power of the online space. So we're talking like the vast majority of people. I mean, this is brand new for a lot of people. Hang on a minute. So I can run an entire coaching business, see my clients, get paid, and travel the world at the same time. I can make a difference and travel the world at the same time, or at least work from home. I mean, that on its own, like I think sometimes we underestimate what a desirable thing that is for so many people. We get it into our heads where, like, one of the best things you can do is, of course, travel the world, which is a massive benefit. But the sheer fact that people can just simply work from their homes, opposed to having to do the stuffy commute into the office as an online coach. I mean, these are big ideas still for a lot of people, and we want to introduce these ideas to everyone.
And it was almost like people had a bit of a limiting belief around the power of the internet before Corona, and they've been forced into this new environment. And then they've realized, well, actually, it's quite beneficial in a lot of ways. They've probably connected with people they've never connected before. They've probably taken advantage of many more opportunities they never would have done before. And they can see that it's real, and they can see that you can foster real life relationships and get a lot of value just from behind a computer screen. But if you haven't been brought up in that era, and we were on the cusp, you know, we was brought up as the internet was really starting to take off. So we've sort of been brought up in that space. But people that came just before us, they sort of just can't quite comprehend it. A lot of people, can they? But now they can. But yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that we've grown so quickly, because of the way that we've just been perfectly in line with the industry and got there right at the beginning, before everyone was sort of like, we just got it just before the burst of it. I don't know if it's just we're so immersed in it, it seems like it's grown exponentially to the point where it's just undeniable, or if we're just really heavily immersed in it. But to me, like, coaches are popping up, you know, a lot. Whereas before it was quite a rare thing, and people, when I told people what I did before, they didn't even know what it was, and they still don't. And actually, definitely a topic for another day. But if you are one of those coaches listening now that think that the market's saturated, I can tell you that it's definitely not. I mean, it's growing, but it's in its infancy. There's still such a small amount of coaches in comparison to how many people there are in the world that have problems. And you know, it's just because we're in that space that we tend to see it more often. But yeah, it still happens regularly that I tell people what I'm doing, and they don't understand. They have no idea. You know,
it's funny. I think it's such an interesting, I mean, it will be a topic for another time, but just quickly to touch on the whole idea of the market being saturated, I think it's just one of the funniest things in the world. It's like the market will not become oversaturated within our lifetime, right? It won't happen within our lifetime. And to think that it's happening already is so laughable, because the amount of people on planet Earth who could benefit from breaking down some of their limiting beliefs, increasing their confidence, achieving their goals, will far outweigh the amount of coaches that exist on planet Earth for generations and generations to come. If anything, it will always outweigh it, surely.
Well, actually, if you think about it, every single person on the planet could actually be a coach, and they would just coach each other on a different area.
Yeah, true. Because coaches need coaches. I've got a coach. Lewis has got a coach. So, and it's funny, like when I first moved away from being a coach to teaching people how to become a coach, when I first started taking those steps, I always got the classic objection from friends and family. But are you not creating competition? Is that not what you're doing? You're creating competition. Yeah. I'm like, mate, come on. Like I could qualify and accredit 1 million coaches over the next year, and I wouldn't even be scratching the surface in comparison to the amount of clients that are out there. Because like you said, even the coaches are clients, because coaches, it will never end.
Have multiple coaches. Like a lot of successful people have multiple coaches. They'll have their relationship coach and their business coach and their mindset coach, and they'll work with people on many different capacities. So if anything, there could actually become a demand for more coaches than there are people.
Yeah, maybe. So the sheer idea that it's like close to oversaturated now, when the whole industry is in its infancy, just for all of those coaches listening to this, and for those people thinking about getting into coaching, if anyone at any stage ever says to you, "Oh yeah, but it's becoming really oversaturated, everyone's a coach," please don't listen to that, because it is in its infancy, and we're not even close, anywhere near oversaturation. Not even.
Well, we
close.
talk about the reticular activation system, don't we? And it's a part of the brain that, you know, once it becomes aware of something, it recognizes it, it latches onto it. And I think that if you're considering becoming a coach and you've done a couple of Google searches around it, you're then hyper aware of it, and you're going to notice it more often. or maybe you're putting yourself in situations, in environments where they are there. For example, you may have even connected with a coach and then they accepted your friend request, and then you see the message popped up that a coach has followed you, and you're like, oh my God, there's coaches everywhere, when actually you're the one that created that, result or that reaction. So you'll be surprised at how much people go out, put themselves in environments and create a certain reality, and then get surprised that it's there. But there's other people that, and actually I tell you what's really interesting, just your Facebook newsfeed in itself, because your Facebook newsfeed is such a powerful thing, because it makes you believe that is how the world is, because it's what's around you. Because that's how we create beliefs, don't we? We look at information and we absorb it and we use it to form meaning. And we're like, if these people are talking about this and that people are talking about that, then that's how everyone thinks, because that is our reality. That's our social environment. And that's the same. And that's actually more dominant now than most people's outer lives. So I remember I had my old Facebook account. It was when I had, a very different life. My feed was full up of offensive jokes and like people getting drunk and people with black eyes. And I used to have the belief that everyone took drugs. And that was actually a genuine belief of mine. I was like, everyone's doing it. Even the doctors and the lawyers and the politicians, they're all doing it as well. And there's probably a handful of them that do that. But in the large part, not everybody does. It's probably a very small percentage of people, but I believe that they all did. And now, if you're on your social media newsfeed now, and of course you've actively networked and connected with loads of coaches, and you have friends that are coaches that they're also connected with, and you're liking pages to do with coaching and mindset and all that sort of stuff, then you're creating this internal social reality in which that exists. And it's so easy to think that that's how everyone is, but that's the reality that you've created.
It's interesting you say that as well, because we've got some Coaching Masters members, and I've heard them say this time and time and time again. My newsfeed is so positive now. My newsfeed all of a sudden is so positive, and it's because they're connecting with other Coaching Masters members, and that's the sort of thing that we talk about. And it's you make a good point, and that's absolutely true in terms of your newsfeed, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram. You fall into the trap of thinking that's life, right? That's what life is like. Every so often, if my phone's like run out of battery or something and I'm just sitting around on the sofa, I'm like, oh, Claudia, can I use your phone? I go on Instagram. And I'm scrolling on her feed and I'm like, what is this? Like, this isn't what my Instagram looks like. All of a sudden, it's all baby stuff, and it's all women's clothes, and it's
ribbons and fucking all that shit.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't Instagram, not to me anyway. And of course, all it is because that's her news feed based on the things she's interested in. It's baby stuff, it's girls' clothes, it's makeup, and it's just different to what mine looks like.
And actually, it's way more sophisticated than that. It's not just the people that you connect with, it's what you engage with. It's like the things you're typing in, it's the things you're saying, it's the things. They've even done studies and things where, the speed in which you scroll past something, or, the hovering over it because your thumb's stopped on that, and they can see that you've actually like slowed down to read it, and they'll start to retarget you with things that are more similar to that. Even images have tags on them. Like once I've actually read that this is a thing as well. It's not just like something I've figured out, but I remember once like Facebook did actually glitch out once, and I saw all the pictures, but it had tags all over all the pictures. So if it was a picture of, say, you, it'd be like man, beard, face, everything in the background, and everything had tags.
Wow.
And that's because if you start engaging with those things, it basically runs an algorithm and starts providing you with things like that. So if you're predominantly someone that's quite visual and likes images, you'll get more images. If you're someone that likes videos, you'll get more videos. And it's the same with all content. So it's not just the people you connect with. So we're jumping down a rabbit hole now, but because we're supposed to be talking about the new age breeder coach. But yeah, if you do think the market's saturated, guys, it's because you put yourself around the very small amount of coaches that exist. I can tell you now, there's social circles, there's social networks that don't even know what it is. And until everybody knows what it is, we as coaches have got some fucking work to do.
100%. So one thing that we've liked to express over the last year or so, younger, sharper, more powerful, more impactful. This was the idea, wasn't it? This was the driving force behind the new age breed of coach. We wanted to be younger, sharper, more powerful, more impactful. And you know what? I feel like we have really pulled that off. I feel like we've really managed to create that within the Coaching Masters.
Because one of your visions, and this came before the Coaching Masters, I know it was something you used to speak about, we sort of adopted it and brought that into our ethos, is making coaching as fashionable as having a personal trainer. Because yeah, there used to be this stigma with personal development, and like you had to have some sort of nervous breakdown, or you know, you was going through a midlife crisis, or you've had some significant trauma, and you're weak and you need help. And now it's like, it's almost like the cool thing to do. It used to be cool to be bad, didn't it? Like it was like, you smoke cigarettes, you're cool. You know, you don't give a shit, you're cool. You know, you give people a bad attitude, you're cool. Now it's the other way around. It's like good food, you know, working on yourself, making a difference to people's life. That's what makes you cool. And there's just been this shift in a lot of different things, from the industry to the mindset to the online environment, and everything just falls in line. It's just created this new age breed of coach. And yeah, you're right, absolutely. Younger, sharper, more powerful, more impactful. And it's not necessarily because they have to be specifically young, but it's just we wanted to break this stereotype that people had of these coaches. When people think of coaches, they think of the closest thing that they've had any type of experience with, whether that's personally or on TV. And they think of like a therapist or maybe a counselor. And when you start thinking of some of those stereotypes, most people typically think of a 65-year-old woman sat in her office, or one of those chaise longues, or whatever what are they called?
Is it a chaise longue? Is that what it's called? I know the thing. It's like that kind of like half chair, half lay down thing that sits at the end of your bed kind of thing.
Yeah. And they think of like a shrink or a therapist or something like that. And they think, you know, this old lady with her glasses on the end of her nose. And they think that that's what a coach is. And they also think you've got to go out and get a PhD or a master's or something in order to be able to get there. Now it's like people are using their skills and experiences, and people are getting the qualifications in a fraction of their time because they found access to the right information. And people are realizing that you don't have to be that stereotypical older person. You can bring in a new lease of life to it. And that's why we've introduced the lifestyle element. We've spoken about traveling. We've spoken about making an impact in the world. We've worked with influencers and partnered up with people in reality TV and created these joint ventures where we're able to mix these two worlds together. You've got fashion, you've got excitement, you've got lifestyle, and we're able to complement the power of coaching with those types of identities. So it's like the perfect combination. You want to be an influencer, you want to be cool, you want to have a great lifestyle, you want to have all the followers. Cool. Well, how about combining that with actually making a difference to someone's life? You know, you don't have to be this 60-year-old lady and be, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I mean is you don't need to be that person. You don't need to wait till you get to that person. You can be an 18-year-old straight out of school who's had a bit of experience with battling anxiety and has learned some few things, that goes off and learn some tools and techniques and frameworks to be able to empower people and break down limiting beliefs and shift perspective and things like that, and complement your real life experience with it if you've got it. And then bang, you've got someone that could be way more powerful than someone that's been in the industry 40 years, because I don't know, maybe they don't have the skill set, maybe they don't have the intelligence, maybe they don't have the experience, maybe they don't have the personality, charisma, skills, wisdom, talents, whatever that you have. And it means that everyone's got a chance now. So you've got this 18-year-old fucking powerhouse new age breed of coach that's getting more clients like that than, you know, the 60-year-old woman with the 30-year experience. And that's because they've been able to utilize the tools that are available to them, such as the training that's available, but they've also been able to use the power of online to get the clients. That's another big topic, isn't it? Like, there's been so many coaches in the industry for a number of years that have struggled with the client acquisition because up until now, fuck knows how they've been doing it, or giving out flyers at networking events or something. Like, how do you do it? I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you know, flyers at networking events, like little clippings in a newspaper, fucking a radio advert. If you've really got a bit of cash and you're just hoping it's going to fall onto the ears of someone who might need who knows? But you know, this is a big part of the reason why people love to join the Coaching Masters, right? This is a huge reason as to why people love to join the Coaching Masters, because, like we said, that younger, sharper, more powerful, more impactful, it doesn't directly relate to someone's age. It relates to the way that they're going to approach coaching, right? And we're approaching it in a completely different way. Like, we've got members of all different ages, different sexes, of course, like all different shapes and sizes, different demographics, and they're approaching coaching as this mindset, and with this mindset of being younger, sharper, more powerful, more impactful, because they're utilizing the online tools, they're utilizing their experience, their expertise, their mentorship, as well as coaching. You know, this is something we talk about a lot. We know that coaching in its like purest form, coaching, you know, you never give your opinion, you never show your emotion, you never give any guidance, any mentorship. Now, a coaching master does a bit of all of that. You know, does a bit of everything, does a bit of coaching, does a bit of mentorship, gives a bit of guidance. And we understand that everybody that walks through our doors and everybody listening to this podcast, you've got something to give. You've got value to give. You've got lives that you can change through your experience and your expertise and your knowledge and coaching, which you can learn, right? Which we teach, of course. You can change lives and become that new age breed of coach. Regardless of your age, regardless of your demographic, you can become that person. And off the back of that, you're able to create this lifestyle where you're able to change lives on a daily basis whilst giving yourself freedom. Freedom's a huge element of this, isn't it? You know, freedom has been like an underlying value that we focused on a lot throughout our journey with the coaching masters. Freedom, geographical freedom, go wherever you want. Mental freedom, emotional freedom, financial freedom, which is an element of freedom. It's not the be all and end all. But you can achieve this freedom by adopting the mindset of the new age breed of coach. Don't allow yourself to be pigeonholed and think, well, I have to do it in a certain way because of my demographic or where I've come from or where I grew up or the level that I'm at now. Whether you are an 18-year-old who's fresh out of school and ready to change some lives, or you're in your 60s, in your 70s, you've been doing this for a while, but you want a different approach, you can be that new age breed of coach. You just got to adopt the mindset.
And I love what you said about, adopting the mindset and the way that you approach coaching. Because I tell you what, the best way to get clients and the best way to become a successful coach is to get excited about it and to be proud of it and to own it. You know, because there's so many people that I guess I get a bit ashamed, a bit embarrassed. You know, maybe they're thinking, I don't really want to put myself out there. I want to keep it in my little office, you know, with a little notepad, you know, but if it's something that's cool and exciting and something to show off, then it becomes so easy to promote, you know, and market yourself. Because that's the key point. Like, to become a successful coach, you need to market yourself in some respect. And the best way to do that is get excited, be passionate about it, and just share it with people. Talk about it, you know, communicate the value that it has to offer from a personal experience. And that's, again, something that we've done that's very different in a sense where we created our courses, not just on the frameworks and the models, but also our real life experience of transformation. And it's unique. Like, there's nobody that has a course like us because nobody's lived our life and overcome the things we've overcome. But what we do is we help people to the point where the material doesn't just give them frameworks to help others, but it also changes their own life. Like, so many people come to our coaching course thinking they're going to learn some tools to better coach others. They don't realize they're coming for a personal transformation, and they transform their own life, and then they go off and transform others. So it's like, that is our tagline. Well, it's not a tagline, it's our mission statement. We provide ordinary people with extraordinary tools to create freedom for themselves and others, because we provide you with the tools. You create freedom for yourself, and then after giving it to yourself, you can then gift that back to others. You know, freedom in the way that you think, freedom in the way that you feel, the location, like you said, the financial. There's so many different elements to it, and then you're then blessed with the roadmap to help other people with it. Because something we really despise more than anything is people that train and teach things that they don't know about. Like, you've got people telling people how to grow their coaching business that don't have a coaching business. You know, you've got, you know, people that are like confidence coaches that haven't got a fucking ounce of confidence. It's like, first of all, you need to go on your own journey, figure out what works, and then complement what you have with these tools and frameworks and techniques to be able to offer a really powerful, more rounded approach to it. And yeah, like, if you're excited about it and passionate about the industry, and you've had your own personal transformation through a course like ours or any others that offer that sort of real life experience, then you'll feel compelled to share it. Like, you can't help but talk about a personal life transformation. You know, if people notice it around you, and you've stopped hanging out with certain friends and stopped certain behaviors and started going after your dreams and goals and speaking more positively, people are going to ask you about it, and you can't help but share it with others. And there you go, marketing. People are like, you've changed your life. How have you done that? And then you go, coaching, and I've learned it. Do you want me to do it to you? And they're like, yes,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't have to get any more complicated than that. But if you haven't experienced it and you're not excited about it and passionate about it, then you're going to keep it hidden. It's going to be a certificate that stays in your fucking top drawer. You're going to do fuck all with it. And then that's not going to help anybody, is it?
No, exactly. And that's it. And that's why it needs to be a lifestyle that you adopt when you become a new age breed of coach, as well as the mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's a decision. One of my firm beliefs, right? This is a solid belief that I hold, that I've held for a very, very long time. And I truly believe I will have this belief for the rest of my life. I have a belief that a firm human decision is one of the strongest things in the universe, right? When you have made a decision that you have decided that you're not going to come back on, you have made a solid decision. It will take a fucking army to stop somebody who has made a firm decision. Becoming a new age breed of coach, it's not about your age. It's not about your demographic. It's not about the people that are around you. It's about making a decision that you are going to be that new age breed of coach, that you're going to think that way, that you're going to act that way, that you're going to coach that way. We see it, right? We see it all the time in the coaching masters. There are people of all ages, all demographics who have clearly made that decision. And upon making the decision of saying, I am a new age breed of coach, I am younger, I'm sharper, I'm more powerful, I'm more impactful, and I'm going to approach coaching with pride. And I'm going to shout about it from the rooftops. I'm going to tell everybody I'm a coach, and I'm going to be proud about being on a journey of personal development and no longer think it's cool to be fucking one of the bad boys, one of the bad girls. I'm going to be proud of developing myself. Magical things happen when you make that solid human decision. And we see it time and time again. We've made that decision. And as soon as we made that decision, our lives changed. The people around us changed. Speaking of that, one thing that I always find really interesting, and I think a lot of coaches face this because you do go on a journey of change, right? Of course, you go on a journey of change, is when you get those outside influences, more so the negative ones, saying, oh, you've changed. You've changed. That's the fucking point. I hope so. I hope I've changed. I want to have changed. I've been working very hard to change. So again, never be influenced by that, because there's always going to be that crab mentality. You fill a bucket full of crabs. If one of the crabs tries to climb out and lead themselves to a better life, all of the other crabs drag them back down. If you're listening to this now, make the decision that you're going to be a new age breed of coach, and you're going to be proud to be a coach and proud of personal development, regardless of who says you've changed.
Yeah. Because you've got to be aware of that. And an example of that is, and you've been to the Tony Robbins Unleashing the Power Within, and I have as well. And for anybody who's a coach that's listening to this, you'll know who he is. But he's probably the most famous and probably the most wealthy coach in the world, because he's a billionaire, self-made billionaire. And he holds seminars, and he does them almost, I think, weekly for the last 30 years, does them all over the world. And he has like tens of thousands of people turn up for his events. And it's quite sort of positive, rah, American sort of traditional personal development stuff, but it's very powerful, very transformative, and he's the top of his game. Like, it's undeniable, the growth and the success he's had. But yet he even puts a caveat in there. And like, you've done it a long time ago, so maybe you don't remember, but like, I did it only just a few years ago. And he said sort of something like, just be aware of when you go back, your family are going to have something to say about this. They're going to be taking the piss. They didn't say taking the piss, whatever he might have said. We were saying this the other week. What is their alternative to this? What is it? Taking the mic.
What is it? What is it? For all the Americans listening to this, maybe you can send us an Instagram DM and let us know, what is the Americans' version of saying that they're going to like try to humiliate you. That's the only way that I can sort of think of taking the piss. That's
making fun of me, maybe.
Making fun of. Yeah. That surely is it.
Yeah. So he says, like, you're going to have your family taking the piss out of you, and they're going to be saying, oh, look at him, he's just come back from his seminar. And it's so true, and I can imagine it. Like, you come back from this like power of positivity, rah, 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 music, fist bump into the air. And it's so easy to take the piss out of something like that. And even myself in there, it took me a while to really sort of loosen up and let go, because there's that stigma and that belief of, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I like dancing on my own in a fucking seminar, listening to a man talk about positive life? It's like, how did this happen? I could have sworn I was off my own drugs in a festival a couple of years ago, but but it's so powerful and so transformative and so enjoyable when you start to figure life out. And it's so easy to like fall into that trap of thinking what you're doing is wrong because other people don't approve of it. But just you always look at them and say, do I want what they've got? And if the answer is no, then don't fucking listen to them. Because if they're sitting there taking the piss out of people in the pub with not 2 pence to rub between each other.
No, but I think it's absolutely true though. And it's like we said before, when you go on this journey, you're going to experience that left, right and center. Like there are going to be people in your life that don't understand it, that make fun of it or yank your chain or take the piss of whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, they're not going to be there every step of the way. If they're those people that are there that are yanking your chain, taking the piss, fucking dragging you down, they're not going to be the ones that are there during the dark times. They're not going to be there during the good times. At the end of the day, regardless of the people that you have in your life, like the closest people to you as well, there's one person who you have to spend 24 hours a day with. One person. Right. And that is yourself, regardless of how much time you spend with your spouse and your mom and your dad or your fucking colleagues at work. There's one person who looks back at you when you stare in the mirror every single day until the day that you die. And that is you. And if you have made the decision that you want to better yourself and you want to become a new age breed of coach, you want to make a difference, you want to work from home, you want to travel the world, you want to add value to people's lives through the power of coaching, then fucking do it and don't let anybody tell you otherwise, ever. Never let anyone tell you otherwise, because those people are not staring you in the face when you fucking look in the mirror. It's only you. You have to be proud of yourself and proud of what you do.
And it might be uncomfortable to know that people are maybe saying something that you disagree with about you, and it may sort of trigger you a little bit, or it might tap into some of your own insecurities, and it might feel more painful than it actually is. But if you allow yourself to push through it and do what's right for you, then I tell you what, it's a much more easy to take in a couple of years' time. And this might seem a little bit extreme, but when you're traveling around the world, flying in a private jet or driving in a Lamborghini, okay, that's a bit extreme. If you are though, which is possible, and they're still fucking bitching and moaning about someone else down the pub, it's hard not to bring them out because you just don't know if the people know what we're on about. But yeah, like, okay, that was a bit of an extreme example, but when you're working for yourself and they're taking themselves to a job each day, or when they're bitching and moaning about the fact that their boss is an idiot and you haven't got one, and you've just got a lovely testimony from a client that you've helped transform their life, you'll just laugh if you think they're even saying anything about you, or you'll embrace it knowing that it's good because you just have a different opinion, and that's all good. Like, it's difficult at the time, but take yourself to the future when you've got what you want, and you'll realize that their opinions are and always have been completely insignificant.
I want to talk directly now to those people that listen to the Coaching Masters podcast who may not be coaches yet. There's a reason as to why you're listening to this. There is a reason. You're intrigued on one level or another. You've either seen us on Instagram and you think, what do these guys do? I want to know more. You've either connected with a Coaching Masters member who's quite clearly been raving about the community, because everybody does. Maybe you have stumbled across one of our Facebook ads and you've seen one of our videos, maybe some of our content. And at some point you've made the decision to listen to this podcast. Maybe you've heard me on another podcast or Lewis on another podcast.
Do you know what would be cool if someone's listening to this in the future and they've walked into the Cafe Coach coffee shop in Bali and then seen a little poster on the wall for our podcast?
Yeah,
so
well, there we go. Maybe as well. Of course, we're setting up our own Cafe Coach in Bali, co-working space, coffee shop, training center for coaches as well. Maybe you've just walked in there. But I want to talk to you directly, because you may be listening to this and thinking, do I jump in? Do I jump in? Do I become a coach? Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Have I got enough experience? There is only one of you in existence. And I don't care if you're a twin, a triplet, or a quadruplet, whatever they're fucking called. There's only one of you, right? There's one of you. There's one of you that have walked in your shoes, lived your life, seen the things you've seen, heard the things you've heard, felt the things you've felt, had things said to you, about you, places that you've gone, things that you've done. And everything combined has created valuable experience, perspective, awareness, viewpoints that can be used and utilized to help another person highlight their blind spots, which they can't see. And if you can do that, you can be a powerful coach. And of course, we can show you how, but please just jump in because it will change your life.
Because you only need to be good at one thing. I think the biggest limit and belief that people have about becoming a coach, and you only need to be good at a thing, really. They're just helpful experiences. It's the coaching tools, techniques, and frameworks that we teach you that enable you to coach people. And so we need to do another episode, by the way, on what is a coach, because I speak to so many coaches in Bali and they don't even know what a fucking coach is. I say to them, they're like, oh, I'm a coach. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm a coach trainer. And they're like, oh, what's that? You used to help people grow their business. I said, no, I train coaches. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I teach them the tools and techniques and the frameworks in order to coach people. And they're like, oh, I just share, my knowledge. And I'm like, you don't even know what a coach is, mate. So anyway, but yeah, so we need to do another episode on what a coach is. But yeah, for the, you need to be good at the techniques. But even if you want to be the more consultative type approach where you help people in one area that you're passionate about, whilst complementing it with the tools and techniques, you only need to be good at one area. So many people, and the biggest limit and belief that I hear is people think they have to have everything in their life completely fucking bang on to be able to be this perfect role model. It's impossible to have every area of your life perfect, because everything's, has a plus or a minus. It's very difficult to be in complete balance. You'll find that the most successful, wealthy, happy people in the world have an area of their life that they're not very good at. Like we've got our flaws. We're coaching masters, we're coaching trainers, yet we of course have areas of our life we want to develop, and we have massive benefit from other coaches. There's for example, you could be a 20-year-old just finished university female coach who is coaching a 50-year-old billionaire, because that billionaire might know how to make money. But I'll tell you what he doesn't know how to do, for example, it's all different, is have fulfillment maybe, or have peace or balance or health. He might be a fat billionaire, right? And this 20-year-old girl is thinking, I could never coach a billionaire. I could never coach someone that was older than me, is actually delivering the most value that that person could ever receive, because she or he has the peace that the other person needs. So it's so easy to think, oh, I need to get my finances in check. I need to get my fulfillment and confidence and my life and my everything needs to be perfect for me to be a coach. No, you don't actually need any of that. You just need to learn the tools. But even if you do want to focus on a specific area, you just need to get good at one thing. Like you could be overweight, broke, all these things, but you might be absolutely brilliant at creating morning routines. Like that's your thing. You can help people create the most perfect optimized morning routine. Or you could be, broke, absolute flat out broke, but know how to create happiness in someone's life. Just focus on what you do have. Like we meet so many people, and this is not just coaches, this is just people that just spend their life fixating on the little black dot, which is the thing they don't have. And they'll focus in on that, and they'll focus on all the pain and misery and all the things that will stop them from going after the things they want, rather than looking at the huge outer workings of the white space, which is everything you do have and the abundance that you have and the things you have to offer. If you focus on what you do have rather than what you don't have, and you realize all your skills and talents and experiences that enable you to become this new age breed of coach, then you'll become successful. And comparing that to the person that sat there going, I'll wait until I've got everything in check, will be waiting their entire life, because that day doesn't come, because you've always got more to go. You've always got more to learn, develop and grow. And the key is starting as soon as you can and helping people and going from there.
One thing that a new age breed of coach does very, very well, and I'm going to give this to everybody listening to this as a step, right? Take this step. A new age breed of coach is very aware of what they find easy. And most people ignore what they find easy because they make the assumption that everybody finds it easy. If something comes easy to you, it's very easy to ignore that as a skill set or knowledge or wisdom or a superpower that you have, because you think, oh yeah, but that's easy. Like there's no value there because that's easy. Everybody can do that. A new age breed of coach is very aware of what they find very, very easy, because they're also aware that just because they find it easy, that doesn't mean everybody else finds it easy. Using the example that Lewis just spoke about there, you could have a coach who is absolutely broke, has no money, but finds it incredibly easy to build a morning routine for fulfillment, right? And has mastered it and nailed it. And they think, oh yeah, but that's fucking easy. Everybody can do that. And then you've got the millionaire who's very good at making money, who is so awful at building a morning routine for fulfillment that they've got all of this money and they're fucking miserable. Now, you would be doing yourself a complete disservice, and you'd be doing them a disservice if you weren't utilizing the superpowers that you've got. And one great way of figuring out what superpowers you've got, look at the stuff that you find very easy. Don't undervalue it. That stuff's it's not valueless because you find it easy. It's actually incredibly valuable, except you just happen to find it easy. So the first step I want everybody to take is just to start to figure out, take a bit of time to reflect, sit back and think, what do I find very, very easy? What comes really easy to me? And you'll slowly start to discover other people really struggle with that one thing, and you can help them.
Yeah, and then the next thing is use it. Because if you don't use it, you won't actually maybe know that you're good at it. Like I always think about, imagine if like, I think I've used this exact example before on one of these podcasts, but it was probably a while ago now. And I remember thinking, why did I use him? And I thought of him again. Weird. But I was like, imagine if Tiger Woods never swung a golf club.
Absolutely. Because he thought, oh, well, this is easy. Like imagine a young Tiger Woods,
Maybe
right?
He just never knew it was easy because he never swung a golf club.
And so, but imagine, right, another version, right? So one version is he just never did it, right? Which is a travesty because he's never fucking unpacked that thing and discovered it was easy. Another version is young Tiger Woods goes over to the fucking driving range, hits a couple of golf balls, gets a couple of holes in one and goes, oh yeah, but this is easy. No one's going to want to see me do this. This is so valueless. This is too...
Everyone can do that.
Fucking everyone can do that. Surely everyone can do it. It's really easy. Never underestimate the power of the things that you find easy. That has got to be one of the biggest travesties in the world, isn't it? How everyone on this planet has at least one thing that they find very, very easy. And 99.9% of people undervalue it because they find it easy. They don't realize that it's a superpower.
I mean, I used to think I was stupid. I used to think I was a buffoon. Because that was what was drilled into me. And I never, because of that belief, I didn't try anything. I didn't give myself the opportunity to see what I was good at. And, you know, some people might say this is arrogant. Some people might say this is confident. If you think this is arrogant, then you need our coaching program. If you think that it's confident, then you're our kind of people, stick around. But I will say, me and Liam, we find this stuff incredibly easy. Like we can just do it. We can just deliver it. We'll say, what do you want to talk about today? This, cool, got it. And it just flows out of our fucking mouth because it's easy. Because we find it easy. However, it's not easy for other people. They pay us considerable amount of money to share with them the things that we find easy. You guys can do exactly the same. The coaching tools, the techniques and the frameworks, they just help you with that more naturally intuitive process that you already have within you. You know, someone that identifies as wanting to help people, make a difference, you know, they will have a certain coaching ability naturally to them. They'll know what questions to ask, how to sense someone's energy, how to support them. And, you know, you can do that without any coaching qualifications or training. You know, what we're doing is just helping you deliver that in a more powerful way. But yeah, if you find what's easy for you, you'll find that you'll get people results and it'll be effortless.
And imagine me and you never pursued coaching, the coaching masters, the podcast, because we thought, well, yeah, but it's so easy. Like everyone can do that. Anyone can do it. It's got no value. It would be a disaster, wouldn't it? It would be such a shame because, like, for some transparency here, some honesty, this has happened time and time again. And we know the power of this. Me and Lewis can be fucking quickly wolfing down a bit of lunch before we jump on a podcast, like 2 minutes before. And we know that we're going to jump on it and we're going to deliver a massive amount of value. Because look, there it is. You can see, you can hear. Everyone's listening to this. Lewis is rustling his lunch around, which was wolfing down before this. But we know it's so easy for us to jump on, pick a topic we know people are going to want to know about, deliver a load of value, do it confidently, do it with a lot of assurance, and give people some steps that they can take away. Now, is it worthless because we find it so easy? Definitely not. There are going to be people listening to this thinking, fucking hell, I could never do that. Imagine being able to just jump on a live and jump on a podcast and just deliver value. It's easy for us, but just because it's easy doesn't mean it's valueless. It's very, very, very valuable. In fact, A lot of the most valuable stuff out there is the stuff that does come easy to you. They say that complexity is the enemy of execution, right? Which is so true. When something's just too overly complex, you don't really do anything with it. If you can simplify it and turn it into something that comes easy to you, then you execute, then you get results, then you can help people. The new age breed of coach is very aware of that. They're really aware of that. They know what they find easy. They know how they can help their clients discover their blind spots or shine a light on their blind spots. They know how to communicate with their clients in a way that serves them based on their own experience and based on their own wisdom. A new age breed of coach just thinks differently to the traditional coach who sits there with their glasses pointed at the end of their nose, pushing them up, looking at their fucking notes, not really knowing what to say, trying to dig out the experience that they heard on this course 20 years ago, but not really giving a shit, not really listening to what the person's saying. So stale, you know, and the coaching industry as a whole had a real risk. There was a real risk that it was going to become and remain very stale. And we needed to grab it and shake it up and breathe some new life into it. And that new life is the new age breed of coach who thinks about this stuff with intent, you know, wants to help their clients. What comes easy to me? How can I shine a light on their blind spots? How can I hand over my experience? And combines that with all of the tools and the techniques that we teach at the Coaching Masters. Then you can build a very, very healthy business that genuinely helps people, which a lot of new age breeds of coaches are doing right now.
Healthy is putting it very modestly. But yeah, so that's for anybody who's listening to this and thinking, well, this has been interesting, it's been thought-provoking, but I have no idea really what they were talking about. Let's just sum this up. A new age breed of coach is a coach that's reinvented itself. You know, it's adapted with the new industry, the digital era. It's used it to be more vocal and to connect with new people from different corners of the globe using social media. Very simply, just putting out, you know, valuable maybe content on social media that will help people, that allows to share their message far and wide with other people, that's passionate, excited, and actually gives a shit about making a difference in the world. Younger, sharper, more powerful, more impactful, seeking freedom in every area of their life. Our tagline is coach your way to freedom, because coaching allows you to create freedom. And like we've said time and time again, not just freedom in the money that you have, freedom in the way that you think. Being able to think, say, or do whatever you want without hindrance or restraint. Being able to feel the way you want. Being able to spend time with the people that you want. Being able to do what you want, have the money that you want, travel to the places you want to go to. Literally live life exactly how you want. And as a byproduct of all that, you get to help people and make a load of money in the process, because as we always say, the more value you add to someone's life, the more money you'll earn. Coaching is the best way on planet Earth to add value to people's life. Therefore, you will make money from it. And that is another token that allows you to create freedom. But yeah, they're younger, they're wanting to make a difference. They're using, you know, the opportunities that are available to them. They're leveraging the internet. They're leveraging social media to be able to connect with clients from all over the world. Imagine having a client in America at 9 and a client in Australia at 12, and being able to just like close the laptop down and walk outside, and you live in Bali, and then you get bored of Bali, so you just hop on a plane to Vegas, and then you open your laptop again and you deliver another coaching session to your client in the UK. That seems so far out to a lot of people. And the more traditional coach, they'll say it's not possible. And they'll say you can't build a business using social media. You can't do it, right? It's all false. It's all smoke and mirrors. That's just a lovely little limiting belief and a lovely little excuse that allows those people to stay stuck in their environment. If you are somebody that's like, I'm going to break free and break through, I'm going to fuck what everyone's saying, fuck what I've thought previously. I can see the opportunity here. I believe in the internet. I hope we're at that stage now, guys. It's almost like some people still hold on to that. Oh yeah, but the internet's just full of porn and drugs, isn't it? It's just full of guns and drugs and porn and stuff like that, isn't it? Yeah. Have you heard about the black web and that Bitcoin? Oh no, not for me. No, thanks. Have you heard about them scams? What about my kids? I'm posting pictures of my kids on the Instagram. Oh no, not thank you very much. I like to keep my stuff private. And they're sitting there, you know, living the most shit. You know, no offense to them if they enjoy it, but most of them living quite shit lives. be a bit more open and receptive to opportunity and the things that are available to you. And if you are one of those people that want a little bit more out of life, you want to make money, create impact, help people, and be able to live the life that most people see in magazines or scrolling through on Instagram saying that it's not real, but yet they're fucking consuming it every day of their life. If you want to stop consuming and start creating, and come to the Coaching Masters at www.thecoachingmasters.com. I couldn't help but plug it, mate. And that's what happens when you're passionate and excited and own what you do. We're not shying away. We're not like covering it up. We're not embarrassed by our business. And this is a cool podcast. We love, live and breathe coaching day in and day out. And we will continue to do that until every single person in this world, that's a bold statement, every single person has a coach, which means we're going to be doing it indefinitely. And I'm quite okay with that. Are you?
Yeah, mate, absolutely. It takes us right back to desire, that mission, but to make coaching as fashionable as having a personal trainer. This is what we want to do. Nobody has any problems saying that they've got a personal trainer. It's like a badge of honor, a badge of respect. It's stylish, isn't it? If you've got your personal trainer, you've got a session with your trainer later. We want people to be as proud about developing their mindsets and their lives and their businesses and their confidence as they are developing their bodies. Now, developing your body is a great thing, of course, but developing all those other aspects of your life as well, that is a necessity to lead a life that is worthwhile and that you can be proud of and that you can be happy with. And we want to be creating more coaches in this world than there are personal trainers. We want to make it more fashionable, way more fashionable.
Because think about how crazy it is that it's not rare that it's not often that this happens because it's more of a luxury. But say, for example, you got a personal stylist, you would be ranting and raving about that, wouldn't you? Oh, I had my own personal stylist earlier. Yeah, they were like telling me what I could wear, and it was, oh god, I felt like a bit of a celeb. But no one wants to say I had someone help me with my fucking brain. The most valuable fucking organ that's going to literally create your life and make it either really good or really shit. They're like, oh no, wouldn't want to admit that. But they're not, though. Things are changing now. But there are still those people that are still a bit stuck in that. And it's just, we can't get our heads around it now because we've trained our brain in a different way. And that's the key. But yeah, we need everybody to be as passionate, excited, and interested and like enthusiastic about coming home and sharing the fact that they've got a mindset coach in the same way that they would be if they just got themselves a personal stylist.
And there's only one way that we can do that, and that is by creating more new age breed coaches. And of course, like Lewis said, we do that at the Coaching Masters. You love the Coaching Masters podcast. Check out thecoachingmasters.com. We are proud to say that. We're proud to plug it. We're proud to talk about it. We want to create more coaches and grow our community as much as possible. And for everybody listening to this, because you're listening to this, you are the right fit. It's automatic, right? It's an automatic in. So just come and join us. Become a new age breed of coach. Travel the world. At least give yourself the freedom to work from home or work for those coffee shops, not have to go into the office anymore. Financial freedom, geographical freedom, mental, emotional freedom. Coach your way to freedom by embarking on this journey of becoming a coach. And there's only one place you can really do that. And that is the Coaching Masters.
You deserve more. You are a new age breed of coach. You are a coaching master.